You hear the music, you know what it is. It's Monday. Welcome everybody. Win Daily NBA DFS Pre-Lock live show. As always, coming off a glorious weekend. No pun intended, Bobby Roode. But it's me, it's Nick, it's Adam. Back off a nice break. We love our weekends, even though Adam had a very profitable weekend, which we love, and we're going to try to do that tonight. But make sure you're following us at Win Daily Sports on all social formats. You hit the subscription, you hit the like button. You know the drill, right? You know everything on socials. Make sure you're getting there. Props for Profit, FFVP, and the Coors. Ghost, man, how was your weekend, buddy? Are you ready for some NBA 9-game action tonight?
Yeah, it's gonna be it's like greasy slate, but it's gonna be good to get back into it. And March Madness was a lot of fun this weekend too. So everything's good,
Shocked?
man. It's
You shocked about that March Madness?
Not at all. I had a few of the boys were texting me and they're like, "Oh, I'm all in on Houston, this, that," and I just kept answering one word. I was like, "Nova, Nova, Nova." And then one of my friends, like, he bets a lot. Like his unit size is pretty big, and he actually FaceTimed me and he was like, "Bro, you got to sell me on Nova." I was like, they win outright. Forget about the points. They just win outright. I was like, if you're not comfortable, just take the 3.5. But it was a really good weekend again, and kind of finished strong. Up a ton of units for the tournament, so looking good.
Nice. Listen, one thing's for sure, and you know Nova's close to me, and Jay Wright. Again, we talked about this last on series. We'll talk about it again, but he's just, I'll tell you what, his coaching ability, is insane, and it's not talked about enough. I mean, this guy is taking Villanova, Adam, and putting them on a national stage. I mean, you're talking, you have 3 Kings and Nova. Nova is like inserted into this mix, which is, for me, it's crazy. It brings back memories of like John Chaney and Temple, but to be able to take Nova and put them on this pedestal, man, it's something of greatness. It really is.
You guys can call me a sucker, but I'm kind of excited for Duke UNC in the Final Four. Like, there's some poetic justice there. It's kind of nice that happened.
Yeah, I don't think it's nice because I can't stand Coach K, but I definitely, I told you ever since Coach K beat my running Rebs, I've had a vendetta against them. Okay, but
just from the historical perspective, it's nice. I'm not necessarily saying I'm rooting for one side or the other, but it's not like I can't believe they never played each other in the tournament. It blew my mind.
That's
I'm not
crazy.
The biggest. I know, like I'm not the biggest college guy, so I just kind of assumed like, well, they've played each other somewhere down the road. Never done it. That's kind of nuts in all those years.
It really is, especially when you go back to all those battles between Dean Smith and Roy Williams. And it's just nuts. And Coach K, that three-peat right there, those 3 guys, when Kansas, Duke, and UNC, man, we got a lot of memories with them, man. It's got a great tournament. I'd love Nova to go in. Really bad injury for them, obviously. Don't know if that's going to hurt them at all. I was going to hurt them, but hurt them enough to where they can't ball. But I don't know, Ghost. You think Nova can win this tournament?
Man, I was actually really mad. Like Adam knows too, because I was like, this is the perfect scenario for Purdue to cut down the nets, and they just go and lose to St. Peter's, and I was just so livid. But while everyone else was enjoying that Cinderella run, like it was enough. I want to see the big programs succeed, and I thought Purdue had the easiest path to cut down the nets, and that was the thing for me. I had Kentucky out second round, so it was just an earlier exit, made it that much easier, and I was like, hey, Purdue's path is just getting way too easy right now, and I was really confident that the pick was right, and then they just go and do that. But I had Purdue over Nova in the final. I had Nova to the finals, and I'm sticking to that. I think Nova still makes it, and now, yeah, I do think that they'll cut down the nets. It's going to be crazy, but like I also made a pact with myself that I refuse to bet on any Duke game in this tournament because you never know what's going to happen. Like it's Coach K's retirement. He was coaching his 100th game. Like there was way too much there for me to say like I just made a pact. I refuse to bet on Duke the entire tournament. So I'm not touching that game.
Too. Yeah, I've been told that answer a couple times this tournament.
I'm not touching any one of Duke's games, but I will be betting Nova in the Final Four. That's for sure.
Nova Nation, Duke basketball, baby. Stop with the Adam Cole.
Here's the thing, like,
only because it's with Duke. I don't want to hear it.
Kansas is a really bad first half team, and they've they've been like that pretty much the entire season, and you can't do that against Nova. It's not you can't come back down 9. This isn't Miami. This is Nova you're going to be playing. So it's going to be a really good game. But I think if Nova gets out hot, which they like to do, and Kansas struggles in the first half, which they like to do, I think Nova can easily win that game. And then it's in the finals, man. Anything could happen. So yeah, I do like Nova's odds to cut down the nets.
Yeah, that would be great, man. That would absolutely be great. But let's go make some money, man. We got a 9-game slate tonight. Make sure, as always, we talk about this all the time, but make sure you're reading the article that drops every day on Win Daily for the NBA DFS show. You think about it. I mean, boys, what do we have? 8 to 9, maybe 8, 9 games left per team. I mean, obviously I differentiate between the two, but we're coming to the home stretch, and we see it, Adam, already tonight. A barrage of injuries, whether it be injuries, guys resting, right? There's so many different things we have to look at. You brought, credence to it a couple weeks ago. We've talked about it. When you get to this point, there's going to be so many different pivots you have to make. But tonight, looking at your core right away, I don't think there's any question on who's going to lead, right?
Yeah, I mean, usually we only do 4. I did 5 because fitting in Jokic and Murray can be a challenge on normal slates. These slates coming down towards the end aren't going to be normal because you're going to see teams like tonight. You have how many people out for Boston? You have the Pacers down to 9 men. You have the Thunder down to 9. You have the Trailblazers down to 8. Like, this is just the way it is. And I got to give props to Ghost because he set up the article exactly how I would have. Generally, we do game environments, and he set it up how it needed to be set up today. It was studs, and it was value guys, because this is the way lineups are going to be set up probably for the next couple weeks, man, until playoffs start. So I'm taking the two guys with the highest upside in must-win game environments. I mean, we just saw Andre Drummond hang 50 points, 50 DK on the Charlotte front court. That was Andre Drummond, man. Like, Nikola Jokic is going to just eat them alive. Dejounte Murray's against the Rockets. We've targeted him every single time in this matchup. He's crushed every single time. The one he didn't, he played like 24 minutes and still put up like 50 DK points. It was ridiculous. And then you have to get some exposure to these teams that have the value. Keon Johnson for the Trailblazers, Peyton Pritchard for the Celtics with 4 of their starters being out, Kuminga with all the Warriors being out. You have to have value here, and you have to get at least one of each from the Thunder and the Trailblazers at the end of the night, at least one of each. If you go to 3 players from that game, I'm not going to argue. I'm drawing the line at 4 just because there's so many other good spots to attack. Like, a team like Indiana was chalked the past couple slates because they're down to 9. Nobody's playing them tonight. Against Atlanta, who is one of the worst defensive squads in the league. Like, there's a lot of pivots to be made and a lot of guys you can throw into these lineups that can really make a difference. But these are kind of the core guys that I'm looking at, and then kind of interchanging pieces around them.
Yeah, it's a good point. People, it's funny. Cowboys already thoughts on Peyton Pritchard tonight, right? That he's like, Pritchard. I like we already knew, right? Yeah, he is a great pick tonight. I mean, look, he's even 3,900, man. He's a stone cold lock, in my opinion, for the FFVP tonight. So a lot of different ways to go. You talked about it. There's places to pivot, but these are the guys that everybody's looking at. Jimmy says, I want Sengun, but Looney is top 3 or 4. My thoughts. I don't know. What do you think, Ghost? That's your boy Sengun.
You basically have to play Joker twice if you play.
Right.
Sengun
That's right.
Joker. So
it is a Win Daily brand night tonight, baby. Joker, Sengun, and Murray all in the same lineup. Who would have thought?
Wow. So, for me, the comparison isn't really to Sengun to Looney because there's a hefty price difference there. For me, it's, do you want to play Sengun or do you want to play Poku? It's 1-for-1 swap, and that's the question you should be asking yourself, not Sengun versus Looney, just because there's a lot of damage to be done with the 1,600 that you save going from Sengun to Looney. So
100%.
I like Looney tonight. I can't fit double center because there's way too many guards that I want to play. So it doesn't work for me. But it's for me, the question is more Sengun versus Poku. But yeah, it's the same thing as the article, guys. It's the same thing throughout the entire day. My lineup hasn't changed. It's Joker, it's Murray, Kuminga is the one value, please, that I will name in my core just because power forward is absolute booties. And you just got to go Kuminga. It's what it is. It's a Kuminga game. Leave it at that. And then OKC Portland, I put it like this for a reason because this is the one thing that I want to touch on in the core. I'm going one from each side, and that's it, max. I've seen this way too much in Discord where there's 3 OKC guys, 2 Blazers, this, that. These teams are so bad. Like, just I understand that they're dirt cheap, and I get it. Let's not forget how I don't even want to phrase it that way, but like let's just these offenses are absolutely terrible.
It's
I
2 G League
understand.
teams taking each other on.
Like you gotta keep that in mind. Like can't fire these guys up saying, oh yeah, they're gonna drop 45 DK. Like, bro, these are all guys that are low usage guys, and they can't cut the rotation on 2 of the worst teams in the league. And they're not in the rotation usually. Half these guys are on 10-day contracts. So it's one apiece for me. This game tips off 3 hours later than the first games. It's going to be a disaster. And I do want a piece of it, but I'm not going overboard because everybody is shifting everything on this game. It would not surprise me at least to see this game finish 140 to 138, or if it would finish 90 to 88 because of how bad these offenses are. So it's one apiece for me, Max. That's the one thing that I want to touch on in my core, and that's it. And it's likely going to be one of Keon Johnson, LB. I like Eubanks tonight, but again, same thing like what I was telling Jimmy with Looney. I just can't fit double center tonight, so kind of by default he's out. But it's going to be one of the guard forward combos there, LB and Keon Johnson especially. And then on the OKC side, Theo grades out really well for me. Just ridiculous chalk. I don't like it, but he does grade out well. And frankly, I don't want to pay $6K for Trey Man, so it's likely going to be Theo for me, but it's to be determined. We'll see what goes on. If the field flocks to Sengun, I'm not going to be afraid to play Poku over Sengun. It's going to be the wait and see game for me on this game.
And I think the most important thing out of anything is start your studs, right? You hear what you just hear what Go said. Like we talk about this in every sport, right? So if you're going to put a lineup of low value, low production guys and just hope that every single one of them scores 40, you're gonna be sadly mistaken. Well, maybe 1 out of 4 do, maybe 1 out of 5, 2 out of 4, but you can't base your whole lineup on that. So you definitely have to go towards your absolute studs. Now, again, you're gonna see this throughout the entire thing. I just pivoted from Murray to Young. I really like Trae Young, and I obviously like Jokic tonight for everything these guys said. I like Trae Young going up against Indiana. 47 the last time he played against them tonight. Again, going up against nobody. I love Trae tonight. You're going to see that in props for profit. Kuminga, obviously, he has the Golden State factor. Nobody playing. And then every time every now and then you gravitate towards the guys that you love. And I love Keldon Johnson. I just like him. I'm being honest with you. Playing up against Houston, he's a point per minute every time he plays 30 plus minutes, right? So for me, I know he's 6,700, but again, I really like when he plays 30 plus minutes, he gives you 30 plus points. So for me, this is a 35-minute night for Keldon Johnson, and he's been shooting a 3 at 40+% over the past 2 games. So he's doing a lot more than what he normally does, which I think will carry on into this Houston game. Now, we talked about FFVP, which we already know is Peyton Pritchard. Brian says, Jigsaw, I need just one more person to approve my Murray fade for ice. Listen, don't put it on me if something happens, man. But now I was between the two, man. I honestly was, and I just like to be a little different. That's all. And I honestly don't think you can go crazily wrong either way. I think the upside for both of them are there. Ivan says Pritchard over Neesmith. I looked at Neesmith again for only $3,000. I guess I don't know, Adam. You've been all over Boston today. I mean, you have a difference, obviously, preference over Pritchard, but is Neesmith a good play at 3,000? If that's kind of a fill-in.
I mean, good play might be a bit of a stretch. You can use him. I haven't found myself needing to go that low at this point. And in all honesty, when I don't have to go that low and I can still fit in Dejounte and Jokic, I'm not going to go that low unless I have to. You know what I mean? I feel more comfortable with the guys that I currently have than dipping all the way down to Neesmith, which it hasn't gotten me much extra because I've toyed around with some builds like that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we're talking about Thies again, or Thies, whatever the hell you want to call them. Either way, when you can't pronounce your name, it means you're a stiff and you should be playing anyway. So I don't know how much he's going to play. I know everybody's just kind of picking Ghost or just trying to pick and pluck guys off of Boston because everybody's out. Again, Ghost, let's see if you agree, but I'll just say stop overthinking it, right? Just stop overthinking it.
Right? They don't have anyone left in the front court, right? I'll say that. I'll start with the positive. But on the flip side, like in what I ran, his floor is so low. Like there were times where I would run it and he would be in the optimal at a very high percentage amount of time. And then there were other times where if I tweaked one or two things with the Raptors lineup, the way that I think the Raptors are going to run their lineup, and that's the team that I have the most confidence in the entire league for obvious reasons, his floor is really low, man, because Toronto is the definition of positionless basketball. And if Tyus can't run up and down the court tonight, they don't need him to play the 5. And they showed that last game. Grant Williams was playing the 5. Yeah. So that's where they're going to be able to put Derek White on the court at the same time as Pritchard, at the same time as other guys too. Neesmith's going to be out there, Peloton instructor, but he's going to be out there. Like, it's just, it really depends on what Boston wants to do. It depends how efficient Tyus is in his minutes, but I just, the floor to ceiling combo, he can either be in the optimal at a ridiculous high rostership percentage, or he can absolutely burn your lineup.
Got to be careful, and there's a ton of options tonight. That's the
right.
thing. Like,
that's the thing. Like, I'm not sitting there saying, man, I need to play Tyus to fit the guys that I want to play. Like, there's 10 guys plus that are over 6x of my projections right now. There's so many different options. Like, that's why to me it's like it's really not a question whether I want to play him or not. I think I still think he does well. He grades out really well for me. Just the floor scares me a little bit. That's the only thing.
And right now,
I'm not playing any Miami Heat tonight. I'll just get that out of the way.
Yeah,
that's a quick answer for me. I'm not playing any Miami Heat.
I'm not really interested in Butler. He's not really on my radar with how the lineups shake out tonight. Right now, Thice is popular enough that I'll probably have exposure in cash. I'm more than comfortable not playing him in GPP.
Like, everybody's going to be looking towards the same guys tonight, right? And rightfully so. For me, it's that game grades out ridiculously slow, man. And for that, I rather talked about how bad OKC Portland guys are on offense, but at least they're going to be running up and down the court. They might miss 17 of 20 shots because that's just what those offenses are, but at least they're going to be taking 20 shots. Toronto is going to be really slow. And I don't know if I want to dedicate one of my value guys to a game environment like that. So that you got to be able to fade some of these chalk guys. You can't play them all together. I'm not saying you can't play any of them, but you can't play them all together. And for me, the Boston side of things is my number one look, where I'm like, I'm not playing a Boston guy. I'm okay with that.
And
because
right now,
is ridiculously low.
I was just gonna say, to back you up, it's a 210 total, which is easily the lowest. And currently, there's 4 Boston Celtics in the top 12 in ownership.
It's bad, man.
Guys, that ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen.
Marcus Smart is
no way.
Marcus Smart is, if I was told that I was allowed to run 450 lineups tonight in the same contest, I still wouldn't play Marcus Smart.
That's in the history of DFS, has chalk Marcus Smart ever?
No, I just,
that's one of those dudes that when he's
I can't do it
every time. I won't have Marcus Smart.
I just can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's not going to work. Aaron Neesmith is a stone cold minimum, but bro, the guy lives to teach Zumba classes. Like, I don't know if I could go there. Peyton Pritchard is like,
don't need to go there.
Bro, Peyton Pritchard's going to be like 99.9% rostered, and the only way you can beat Toronto is with the 3. But like, Derek White's going to go out there and take some shots, and Marcus Smart's still going to try and brick some shots because that's all he just bricks on offense. But like that's the thing for me, is that like I needed, as greedy as it sounds, that both Tatum and JB are out. I needed Derek White to be out. That's where I would be 100% locked in on Pritchard. And it's like, right now, again, it's like, okay, it's still 4K, and there's a million guys at 4K.
A lot.
There's a lot of guys at that price. And if And if everyone's building the same way tonight, Boston's the first team that I'm fading altogether.
I'm with you there. Honestly,
And
what
don't get me
about
wrong, just to get it out there, I would take Marcus Smart on my team any day.
the player?
for real basketball.
Yeah,
I
I'm
100%.
a big
love the
Marcus
player.
Smart guy. I love the way that he plays the game. I loved him at college. That was a crazy run at if I'm not mistaken, it was Oklahoma State. If I'm not forgetting my schools, but pretty sure it was Oklahoma State that he was at. They made a crazy run. I remember watching those games, and he was a lot of fun to watch. I like watching him in the league for fantasy purposes. He is one of the guys that I cannot stand. So playing chalk Marcus Smart for me, I rather go play on FanDuel. That says a lot. I rather play on FanDuel than play Marcus Smart in DFS. And everyone knows how much I don't like playing FanDuel.
PJ Washington for me is kind of just a guy I don't
gross.
see.
That's gross.
I don't see myself playing him.
That's gross. Don't do it.
Like
we
if
got all kinds of
just-
acronyms on it.
I'm just playing Jokic from that game and just calling it a day. Like I don't need a run back. It's not like crazy high.
How is PJ Washington going to grab a rebound? How is he going to grab a rebound?
That's kind of the thing. Like what is PJ Washington really going to do in that matchup? Probably not enough to pay off $5,000.
Yeah, no, not five. Not five.
Like, unless he turns into Larry Bird from deep, like it's not going to happen. You won't get there. Like,
I'll take my bet against that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what's the numbers on that? Is that like come on?
He's got to deal with Joker, and then when they take Plumlee off the court, maybe 30 seconds into the game when he's getting cooked, PJ at the 5 is going to be a disaster, bro. He's got to deal with Joker, and then he's got to deal with Boogie. That's a problem.
So let's get to some props for profit before we get out of here. Let's try to make some money on the prop market. We already talked about the money we were trying to make at DFS. We gave you the insight on that. So let's swing over to the prop market. And we got to start with Adam tonight because my man's wearing the crown at their last night. Only King James was the guy. But at the end of the day, man, 4-0, man, I like it. So let's see if he can get the ball rolling with us and going right with Tyus. You had Tyus on Friday, too, and it's funny. When I was putting these, you had Tyus at plus 105 at over 7.5. Now, tonight he's over 6.5, minus 105, so you still like on the night, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really understand the line. Like, you bumped him down an assist and barely moved the line.
Yeah.
Without Ja, these past 3 games, 10, 5, 10, 7. Sorry, 4 games. The 5 assists, he played 25 minutes because they were just kicking the crap out of the Pacers, which, who doesn't these days? It's not an accurate line. It's not representative of what Tyus Jones is doing in that lineup. And then he's playing the B squad Warriors. The only way he doesn't get there is if it's a 30-point game again.
Yeah.
And even then, he still might get there.
Yeah, 6.5 is getting 7's not a big number in that environment at all. Going right to Jokic, man. I love this is a great play right here. Literally.
I mean,
Boston, oh my God.
I fully expect him to score at least, 26 to 28 points, probably 30. Look, man, Denver needs every single game. The Wolves lost the other night to Boston. They beat the Thunder. They can put another game between them and the Thunder. Guess what? They're only a game back of the 5th seed to get into that 5. They're not even dead yet for the 4, which that's probably not going to happen, but they need every single win. This is the best possible matchup for Jokic. Like we said, we saw Drummond just absolutely abuse that front court last night. If Andre Drummond do it, I'm going to put my money on Jokic to clear this number with relative ease.
Without a doubt. And this one made me feel better about my court because you got my man Trey on the bet market here. I like it.
I knew I was going to Dejounte the whole time. Like, even last night, we were literally kicking around lineups. I'm like, there's going to be a ton of value. I want Jokic and I want Murray. So I knew Trey probably wouldn't be in my lineup, so I figured I got to get some exposure to him anyways. Since the trade deadline, when the Pacers kind of shook up their team and just embraced the tank, their defensive rating is 120.5. The Houston Rockets are dead last in the NBA for the season at 115.9. It's like 5 points worse than the worst defense in the league.
Is that
as long as Trae Young just doesn't have the worst shooting night of his career? He's got a great shot for 30, 10. And, right. Like, if you put yourself in that range, that's what you want. You can see him scoring 30 points. You see him dishing at least 10 assists. he's going to get that extra one somewhere along the line.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think this is a great line, 100%. Ghost, you're going again. Dejounte over. This is a low number, man. I think
Bro, this
this
is
is
the most
great.
free money I've ever seen. This is so free.
Wow.
This is so free. Houston can't rebound. They can't play D. They
No.
give up the highest assist rates, primary ball handlers. It's like, this is so free. I absolutely love it. And when the Spurs win tonight, they get to overtake LeBron for that 10 seed too. So
Oh,
Spurs
that's
need
great.
Spurs need this win badly. Dejounte 17.5. This is also free.
That's
This
another.
is so free.
I looked
don't
at that
get
one
it.
too.
I don't get it. Like, I think both guys can triple double tonight, but I'm just these numbers are so free. They are so free.
Free.
I have Joker for like 32 and 15 or something wild. Like he grades out.
He's going to put up just an enormous.
Like I've seen him grade out for some stat lines. This is one of the craziest ones that I've seen him grade out for. So over 40.5 PRA, absolute smash.
I love it. I mean, these are very, very good plays and very sensible and very attainable. So let's go from sensible to attainable to absolutely bonkers, because I decided, what the hell? These, Ghost and Adam are the sensible guys on the show, and I got the nickname Jigsaw for being a reason. Screw it. I love doing SGPs. Obviously, listen, you're not going to hit them every night, but I love them. So I'm going to give you 3. I'm going to give you a 1 combo and 2 SGPs and build around specific games. So right a bit, I want to give you a 3-pointer SGP right from the Charlotte and Denver game. Will Barton has the last 7 games, he consistently hits 2 3-pointers. And again, against Charlotte, I love playing against Charlotte, and I love playing the 2 guards for Charlotte. Ball and Rozier both evenly have hit this number back and forth consistently. This is a very attainable plus 443 bet to me. If you want to do SGP, I love this. I'm going to consistently ride Ball Rozier. I'm about 60 to 70% on the plus when I ride them, and like I said, Barton is very consistent. And then I'm going to jump on a Trae Young wagon. So this is a combo, a two-leg SGP, right? Trae Young, I think, could go for 40 tonight. I did 35 plus and 5 3-pointers made. Like I said, when he played Indiana last time, they were 47. He scored 47. You just heard what Adam said about defensive rating at 120. I didn't even do that math. Adam did it, and now he just reinforces what I put out there. And again, hitting 5 from 3. I know it's a big number, but again, this is why these are getting a little crazy. I call them Jigsaw bonkers, right? But again, this to me is also attainable. Not as attainable as Jokic and Dejounte for PNR, but this is attainable, obviously, for SGP stake. And then we go over the thousands, right? We gotta throw over the thousands, and this is just for the Toronto and Boston game. Okay. And I know at the end of the day, Derek White's to get me. FVB is going to get me, but it's going to be Pascal. I can't believe I'm putting Pascal Siakam into this bet because he screws me every single time. But I'm feeling it tonight. All right, I'm feeling it tonight. Again, 6 legs right here. You talked about Boston. We don't have to say much about Derek White. He's going to play a lot. He's going to throw up a lot of shots. Okay, only asking for 2 3-pointers in that game. FVB for 15 plus is such a low number. I think it goes at least for 20. And if 3 3-pointers made again in that game, very attainable. And then Pascal. I think to me, out of all this, it's either going to be Derek White for 15 plus or Pascal for the 2+ 3-pointers made. That's going to kill or make this bet, in my opinion. So again, attacking certain games, getting a little crazy. Still, each bet gets less and less attainable, but it giving you options. Again, we're not saying to throw all your units and go crazy against them, but if you want to throw your consistent units at Ghost and Adam, which I highly recommend, and then you want to get a little Jigsaw crazy, you can come on the crazy side with me and play a couple games and see if we can hit some money bets.
One more thing before we move off.
Again. Go ahead. What's up?
Ghost brought it up that he thought Jokic and Murray could triple-double. Pizza bet of the night.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me throw that up there.
Dejounte triple-double at plus 450. It's kind of like LeBron last night. It's just too low for the game environment. It's too high of a return. it's just too easy to try and hit that at plus 450.
He's always right there. If he doesn't
Right.
get it, he's always right there.
He's always
Right
close. Couple more boards, one more assist than normal. I mean, what better spot to get it against the Rockets in a must-win game?
Plus 450, man, honestly. And again, I mean, you look at what you need for that to happen. At plus 450, that's not a hard number to get, man.
No.
It's not a hard number to get. Easy on Spicy Peach. Listen, I'm just saying that if anybody fails me, it's going to be Pascal. Robert says, Rozier again says, dude lets me down every time. I dislike. Listen, the one thing I could say, though, he is consistent from three. Like he is a 3-point again, and when he's inconsistent, he gets you three, right? For Terry Rozier, very rare does he only get you one or two. Because he shoots so much, right? He shoots so much. So if Joker's going to go off and Jokic's going to go off, man, they're going to throw up a ton of 3-pointers tonight, and that's why I like this bet. Speaking of Joker, Morris has went over 4 assists forever now. Again. I mean, you look at these numbers, right? Very attainable bet. So, again, hashtag props for profit. Let's make some really, really good money tonight. Let's have some fun. So, again, listen, you got the first game lock. I think the first game's at 7:00. And, right? So, you got you got 3 games at lock at 7. Then you have 7:30. And then you have the nightcap at 10:00. That great OKC and Portland game. That I know Ghosts don't mind sleeping through that. But, again, as
great
always,
tank off.
Yeah, exactly. This might be a good night to go to bed early. Who knows?
If you can't sleep, just draw on the game. I'll knock you out real quick.
That is true. Well, wait a minute. We got to watch, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar tonight. Get ready for WrestleMania. Just throwing that out there because this is WrestleMania week. Shout out Triple H on your retirement as well. The game always as well. Man, childhood memories for sure. But as always, everybody make sure you're following Daily Sports. Make sure you're following me, Adam, Nick. You know the drill. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll catch you right back here tomorrow night.